we are an online adaptive learning product for mathematics to be used within schools. So KnowRe began in 2008 as an offline math academy in Korea. Our focus then, as it is today, has always been to personalize education for each individual student. As our academy continued to grow in conjunction with the authoring of 3 textbooks, or books on math education, our ability to provide that personalized attention became more and more difficult. Essentially what we realized was that once the classroom got over 7-to-1 in terms of student to teacher ratio, we couldn't provide that individual attention to each of our students. So we sought a technological tool to help us educate our students better. Realizing that one didn't exist in the market, we went ahead and built it ourselves. So you may recall back in your school days that a teacher would tell you to show your work, show your work, show your work, show your work. And the reason they told you to do that was because in that process of seeing your work, they could determine why you may have gotten a question wrong. So in this case, here you can see that Jimmy is not using multiplication property of equality correctly. No matter how diligent or good the teacher may be, the reality is that that teacher can't do this and remember that data for 30 kids across the entire curriculum. And so what we did was went ahead and digitalized that process so that our algorithm can actually do the assessment for the teacher. So our focus, sorry, is there another clicker? So our focus is to discover why a student gets a question wrong. So if the student is presented with a question and answers it incorrectly, our technology can actually tell you why the student answered that question incorrectly. Essentially, we do that by breaking down the question into the individual components necessary to answer that question, and then assess the student as they're moving along in the process. What we do with that data is 2 things. The first is we then create a personalized curriculum for each individual student that focuses on each individual student's weak areas. The next thing that we do is then take that data and provide that to the teacher so that the teacher can intervene to each individual student or adjust their lesson plan to address and differentiate their instruction for their entire classroom. In May of this year, KnowRe was just named Best Instructional Application by the New York City Department of Education. There are over 200 companies that applied, and we won first place amongst 3 layers of judging that included teachers and principals, New York City Common Core DOE fellows that looked at our pedagogy, and also experts within the education field. This fall, actually currently, we're in the process of executing a pilot program. As part of our pilot program, we had 150 schools apply. Of those 150 schools, we chose 37 schools to be a part of our pilot. Those 37 schools include 175 teachers and 8,000 students across 34 cities, 17 states, and a wide variety of demographic in terms of school type, geography, socioeconomic background, and ethnic background as well. KnowRe is currently available in pre-algebra and algebra 1. We'll be moving up in the curriculum, moving up into pre-calculus, calculus A, B, and BC, and then also expanding into the Asian curriculum, starting with Korea, and then China and Japan. Thank you very much. We are actually in the process of a fundraising round right now. Would be very interested afterwards to speak with any folks that may be interested. Thank you.
So I saw Spanish there. So
it's Spanish language for pre-algebra.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if the algorithm somehow would work for.
We're working on it for languages later. Hopefully it will, but we haven't really approached that yet.
What is it? Tell us about
the team. There are 5 co-founders, and I guess the entire company is made up of 31 folks. Most of them are content developers, so folks that are making the curriculum. And then we have a development and then UX team as well.
What is their education?
So all of the team, except for myself actually, is good at math. Our focus is hiring content developers that have either masters or PhDs within math, either math or math education.
What's your background?
My background is in finance, actually.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Carleton College. It's a small liberal arts university in Minnesota.
And the other co-founders are from a university in Korea called Postech, which is like the MIT of Korea, the IIT.
Is this a software for teachers
Yes.
to be using?
Yes.
So
Teachers
it's-
to integrate into the classroom either as supplemental
Okay.
or as core to the curriculum.
So it's like making teachers lazier.
Making them better.
Okay.
Making them better by
More
providing.
efficient.
Yes.
And how about, how much have you sold?
Well, we are pre-revenue right now. This pilot program, the schools are using as a free product, but we'll look to sell, starting in the spring when the new school cycle starts.
What's your plan? Are you going to be selling to the schools?
Yes. Yeah.
That's difficult.
It is. It's difficult, but I think a very unique aspect of the timing for KnowRe is the penetration of devices in the schools. Right now, one-to-one penetration is about 20%. And obviously, you look at LA Unified School District, Miami-Dade, and other school districts that are buying iPads for each of their individual students. As that penetration increases, the curricular software solutions like KnowRe are going to become much more important. And so I think we can ride that wave, which is going to be a very obviously influential part of the next gen of education.
What's your marketing?
Our marketing plan in the US is going to be direct sales. We think about our product, because we're selling into schools, we think about our product as an enterprise SaaS. And so we'll have a direct sales force that would sell directly to schools.
And so, and what about Korea? Are you going to sell this in Korea too, or China?
We are.
or-
So we're,
And is it language dependent?
it is. So we're in the midst of creating a Korean curriculum right now. We are hopefully going to be launching a strategic partnership with one of the largest educational companies in Asia to actually distribute our product through their learning centers. And that deal should be announced within kind of the next 2 to 3 weeks.
How do we know the product really, do you have any proof that the product really helps the teachers?
Sure. It's an important question. Obviously, we're getting a lot of data from this pilot program now, but the way that we think about the efficacy of the product is what we've done is taken our offline pedagogy in this Korean Math Academy and digitalized it. And we know that offline pedagogy works, that it is effective. Obviously, the students that have gone through our academy have done well, and so that's kind of our thought process. But I'm supremely confident that after this pilot program, we'll have good data that shows the engagement, the high engagement with the gamification, and the efficacy.
Now, this can't work with all math because there's the trial and error, like if you're factoring, and in some cases you might do. If I'm doing a math problem that's quite extensive, there are pieces that I would do first and other pieces I would do later. And how do you make that work with your software? Or do you just say, look, we're not for everyone and not for every problem. We're just going to do the best we can.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would have loved to actually show, and I'd be happy to, show the product, working out in the lobby. But the screen on the right actually kind of gives you a little sense of the question at the top is x over 2 plus 2/3 equals 2. And what we do is we walk that student through the steps of answering that question. So it is a digital version of showing your work. In essence, we can kind of adapt, or that's the idea, adapt to any type of learning style. And that's the real strength in our product, is that it can focus on remedial students, and it can help also advanced students and any student within that spectrum.
Thank you.
Thank you.